I don't know if you can hear the cheering at home, but I'm pretty sure you can. They're going nuts here at NAB 2013 for our live broadcast and our next guest. I'm Michael Artis. Thanks for joining us here in the Teradek booth. That's C9939. Come say hello. We've got a lot of great interviews coming up for you right now, right here on Ustream, on planet5d.com, and a lot of other places. We're broadcasting live because of Teradek. They are the wireless wizards. They make the best. I got to learn to talk with my new tongue. I just picked it up at lunch. They make the best camera top encoders for broadcast, for cinema, and also for streaming. And so you got to check them out, Teradek.com. If you want to broadcast live anywhere in the world, or you need to get a wireless transmission for cinema or for broadcast, you've got to go to Teradek, Teradek.com. All right, my first guest, Steve Modica from Small Tree. I love Small Tree. You guys are the best for storage arrays, for sharing files, for editing with multiple users. You guys are the best. You've got a bunch of new products, the Titanium Z line, we're gonna get into that. And one of my favorite new products, because I move around so much, is, and I use your products. So I'm giving you an endorsement because I'm a user. I can talk from experience.
That's good, that's good.
And one of the cool new products is the T5.
That's right.
Which seems like Arnold Schwarzenegger should be talking about it here.
That's
and it should be a Terminator movie, but it is a small storage array that's pretty beefy, 20 terabytes.
Yep.
And you can take this with you to the most extreme locations.
Yep.
You can take it to anywhere and edit on scene and store on scene and have your files secure on scene. So that's the first thing. Let's talk about that. How did you guys come up with this product?
We were talking to one of our customers that would go out and shoot skiing videos up in mountains, and they'd jump out of helicopters and stuff, and they wanted something they could take out with them in the field and be there for a week or 2 weeks and edit right there on the fly. And we have some guys that like to video game, and they do these things. They have these LAN parties where they'll bring a box, toaster, they'll hook it up, and it'll act as a server for a bunch of guys playing real-time video games. And we thought, you know, we could absolutely build a server that was that robust and could do that very same stuff. And so we did. We basically took that chassis, we made a bunch of modifications so we could put in FreeBSD, a bunch more drives so we get more storage, 10 gigabit Ethernet so we could hook up and actually move the video that you want to edit. And getting customer feedback, we basically crafted this thing to come up with something that guys like Teton Gravity could take up into the mountains with them, and that's why we built it.
Or like Artis Media, my production company, because we do stuff all over, we move around, and we need stuff like this. It's phenomenal. We use your stuff in our studio, where we edit, and we have up to 6 people editing at a time. Sometimes we'll have as little as 1 person. Sometimes as much as 6 people editing in the same project at the same time, sharing it. Sometimes they're all working on different projects.
That's right.
And the Small Tree stuff just works. It allows you to do that. You can do SAS, you can do fiber, you can do Thunderbolt now.
Yep, Thunderbolt, yeah.
All these things, and you can even do Ethernet, which is actually what I do. I'm a little old school on this. I've got Ethernet coming out from one of your amazing Ethernet cards.
You know, Ethernet is the easiest way to do this stuff. If you can edit on a NAS, you want to. It's simple, it's self-contained, it's easy to understand, it's easy to maintain. So that's what we always focus on, NAS and Ethernet. It's simple.
And that's what the T5 is based on.
Absolutely. Yep.
And the T5 is it's literally you just take the handle and pick it up and walk away.
Absolutely. Even with all those drives, it's only about 20 pounds.
Yeah. It's phenomenal. I really like the T5. How much does the T5 go for? I know it depends on how much storage, but
that's right.
It
runs between
right?
7,500 if you fill it with 2 terabyte drives, up to about 9,500 if you fill it with 4 terabyte drives.
Very reasonable, and it's portable, and that's the best thing.
Absolutely.
Great. Let's move on to some of the other products. Well, let's talk about the cards. So you guys make the cards that have the Ethernet ports, so you can go. You know your computer comes with like 1 or 2 if you buy a Mac Tower. Now you can have 6 out of the back of this device, or even more, 8 now, 10.
Well, even better now that Apple hasn't come out with a Mac Pro in a while, but they have Thunderbolt. We've put all our cards now into Thunderbolt chassis, so now if you want to put 10 gig on your laptop, you can put 10 gig on your laptop. In fact, if you come to our booth, I've actually got 2 10 gig ports on my laptop moving in real time 1 gigabyte of data a second. I'm playing a 1 gigabyte a second video stream on my Retina display laptop in Adobe Premiere.
Wow, that's amazing.
Over 2 10 gig ports.
You know, here's something. I edit on a MacBook Air these days. Everybody said you couldn't do it, but I do it. I push the limits of it because I got tired of carrying stuff that was so heavy, you know, and it just, I carry so much stuff, I had to lighten the load a little.
Absolutely. Me too.
People are just stopping by here, people are dropping by the glass. My buddy Paul McNiff from Canon is right outside We've known each other a long time. He was my first photog, first cameraman, and we've had so much fun together. I'm so glad to see him here. I got to say hello to him later, but I had to give him that shout out. So this is phenomenal, and you can do this on a MacBook Air now, I guess. So I could plug it in because I have the Thunderbolt, and I could plug into my system.
And the Retina display Macs have 2 Thunderbolt ports, so that's 2 4X channels. They can each drive a 10 gig card. So you can actually, I'm using iSCSI to double bubble that sucker. Wow. I can actually move data over both ports at the same time.
That's amazing. Now, your stuff works with any editing system. It'll work with.
That's right.
It'll work with Final Cut Pro, Final Cut X.
Yep.
It'll work with Adobe Premiere and After Effects and the whole family.
And new this year, we are supporting Avid project sharing and bin locking.
Wow.
Yeah, it's built right into the box. There's a free 30-day license so you can try before you buy, and you just enable a software license, and boom, you've got Avid project sharing built in.
So there you go, right there. You can do all this great stuff. Any editing system. You can even do Smoke, and we're going to have them on a little while from Autodesk. How about PCs? If somebody decides, I know a lot of people are talking because of 4K, of switching over to PCs, which to me, it just boggles my mind. I can't even imagine it. But let's say somebody switched over to a PC, but they already own a small tree array. What do they do?
Basically, they just enable Samba. Samba does CIFS, CIFS, which is the protocol that Windows machines use to share files. You can enable both at the same time. You can share the same exact volume over both protocols. So there's no issue there at all.
See how much this guy knows? He knows so much. The amazing thing is your customer service. That's why I go with you guys. I mean, you make great products. Your customer service is unparalleled. You've helped me through everything. And if it wasn't for that customer service, I wouldn't have a small tree. And that's why I decided to go with you guys, and you guys bailed me out. You saved my life because I had a big project that was due, and what I was using was not working out. You got it to me overnight, helped me hook it up on a weekend, and made everything work.
And you know what? The support model that's made us work is remote screen sharing. We log into customers' machines in India, in Denmark,
you do it to
Australia.
me. I just go.
That's right.
I don't have to touch anything. I'm like, all right, I'll see you guys in a half an hour.
That's right. Ask Walter
Biscardi. Baseball while you're doing this.
Walter tells me it's the weirdest thing to see somebody take over his system and just magically start fixing stuff, and that's how we do it.
Chris Duffy over at Small Tree.
Absolutely, Chris Duffy.
We'll talk sports, and he's just fixing stuff, and I'm just, hanging out, drinking a martini, chilling.
Right.
Me and Peter Poon, we're just having a good time.
We can fix you right from the office.
It's amazing. And then you've got and my boy Tim Ward. I got to give him a shout out. He's the best there. If you want Small Tree, call Tim Ward. If you want Small Tree, call Tim Ward. Small-tree.com.
That's the website.
Small-tree.com. Call Tim Ward. Now, before I let you go, you have a new file system, right?
Yeah, it's the Titanium Z because we have ZFS. And what ZFS lets you do is you start with a volume, and if you ever want to upgrade, they tell you, we got to rebuild your RAID. You add drives, you got to rebuild the RAID.
Yeah.
Well, we don't have to anymore. We add more drives, we tell ZFS, hey, there's some new drives. It magically starts restriping everything across the new drives. You don't rebuild anything, it just magically grabs more space.
That's amazing.
You can migrate data around.
You guys are the best. See, and you think of everything, and you also work with so many people that if I call and I need a solution, like if I want to share FCPX over the system, you can do plugins and all these things. You work with partners. Now that Final Cut doesn't even make Final Cut Server anymore, that Apple doesn't make it or make it available, you have solutions for that. And I have a server, a Mac Pro server. I don't need that anymore. I can just have a titanium box, which is phenomenal.
Absolutely, absolutely.
It's phenomenal. Steve Modica from Small Tree, thank you so much for joining us. You guys are the best. I recommend you and only you to everybody. You're in the New York Post. You're in a lot of other places.
Yep, absolutely.
You're in Michael Artsis's place, Artsis Media, and you're in a ton of other places. I know you're in Crossing Stars Films.
Yep. Caterpillar. If you go to our website, we actually have a rolling list of all our big customers.
Small-tree.com. Small-tree.com. Talk to Tim Ward. Steve Modica, thank you so much.
Michael, thanks for having me.
I appreciate you coming. You're awesome, man.